There are arguments for and against meeting-free days. When I did a Google search about meeting-free days, there was so much information about implementing them and how productive they make you. But to me, I think that's nonsense, and I will explain why. Sure, on the day you've blocked off as a meeting-free day, you may have a productive day. However, not having meetings on 1 or 2 days a week is not a solution to the problem we are facing, and that is there are too many non-essential meetings being scheduled. We have a meeting overload and we are fatigued. Now, before I continue, I want to say I make these videos from my experience as an executive assistant of almost 30 years. I really want to impart the things I've learnt. I'm not saying I don't have anything further to learn. I have lots to learn, and that's never going to stop, and I will continue to share what I learn. I also try and make my videos a reasonable length, but jam-packed with as much information as I can fit into them. So if you enjoy my content, then please subscribe and like. Blocking out one day as a meeting-free day doesn't work. In some cases, it causes nightmare scenarios, especially for an assistant looking after their executive's calendar. All it does is push unproductive and non-essential meetings off to other days, which then fills up the calendar with back-to-back meetings, and it leaves assistants stressed trying to schedule meetings on allocated meeting days and trying to also give some space in the calendar where the executive has some time in between those meetings. And if a busy executive has to look after their own calendar, then I am sure a lot of requests for meetings will get lost in the world of the inbox. Having worked in huge multinational companies where there were lots of essential and multi-time zone meetings that needed to be scheduled, it was crazy trying to schedule some time with another person across the globe, trying to keep within their time zone and yours. It would have been an even bigger nightmare to book meetings if there were only 4 days that meetings could be scheduled. And some countries are ahead or behind many hours, so one country's Friday may be another country's Saturday. What about clients? You are not being accommodating to the client by putting their meeting request off for another day. That's not good for business. What if they too have implemented a meeting-free day that isn't on the same day as the company you are working for? That now leaves 3 days to schedule meetings. We really have to stop jumping on the bandwagon of new trends. One of the worst trends I have experienced in my working career is the open office. Don't get me started on that. There is absolutely no privacy in an open office. So to have a one-on-one with your executive or even an impromptu conversation about an issue with someone, you have to book a meeting room, and they are usually limited. If those rooms are booked, then you might have to go out to a coffee shop that has Wi-Fi because you might need to go over a few things on your laptop, or you will need to wait until a meeting room is free and book it. I also find that people tend to talk across the room in an open office situation. No one has their own station like back in the old days. If you wanted to speak to someone back then, you literally had to get up out of your seat and go to their cubicle. So in an open office, when you are working on a project or trying to concentrate and people are talking across the room, then forget it. You have to put off what you're doing until the office is quiet again. For me, I also need quiet space when I'm putting together an email, especially when it is to a client and I'm requesting information from them, or I'm providing information to them. I'm not judging anyone. I've also talked across the room. It's just what happens in an open office. Some have suggested that sending emails instead of having meetings is the go. Whilst I think it's a good option, there has to be some structure around those emails, such as not spamming people's inbox by going back and forth about something that probably could be done with a quick phone call. Some meetings could be completely eliminated and replaced by emails, especially if it's regarding giving feedback about an issue or reporting in as to where you are at with a project. Too many emails coming through our inbox gets too noisy mentally, and we can also feel fatigued regarding that. I guess if you owned a very small company and everyone is in the same office, then meeting-free days may work. In my almost 30 years experience, what I found works best and is beneficial to do for yourself and your executive if you are an assistant is blocking out times in the calendar as a no meeting hour or 90 minutes. That way you can work on what you need to work on to be productive. These block times can be interchanged and rescheduled. What I mean by that is, if a meeting needs to be rescheduled, there are times in the day that are blocked out as meeting free times, and those times can be used to reschedule meetings. And of course, there is no one size fits all. And I don't believe there is a perfect method for anything in life, but we can work on making things simpler. I do hope you found this information informative. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Please subscribe and like, and thanks for watching.